Last summer, a few months ago, I decided after, 13 years as a working journalist that I couldn't lie anymore about my status. And given the ugliness of the rhetoric around immigration, I decided that I had a role, I felt responsible, and I felt like I needed to add my voice to this growing movement of undocumented immigrants. So I wrote an article in the New York Times basically detailing, in 4,000 words, what I had to do to stay here. Getting a driver's license when I'm not supposed to, checking boxes that I'm not supposed to check on, employment forms, lying about my status. And I did that, first of all, to say that, whatever it is that I went through, I'm just one person of 11 million undocumented people who had, who are doing what they have to do, right? But more than that, I think the story, my specific story, speaks to like a larger universal truth, which is that every day there are teachers, pastors, coworkers, friends, lovers of undocumented people, white people, black people, who are helping people like me every day. I want to hear their stories. Like, I want to hear about how they have to, like, basically those people are standing up, where the government has failed all these years to address this issue. So I've started an organization with some of my friends called Define American, defineamerican.com, which is all about elevating how we talk about immigration. I could not have been any more public with it. I was really happy, actually. One of the proudest things was undocumented immigrant was a trending topic on Twitter for like a day. I was prepared for anything and everything, and they haven't deported me. It's been 7 months. I haven't been contacted by the government. I mean, I know this because, I lived in Washington for 5 years. I know everybody read the story, but I'm surprised, frankly, that none of the Republican candidates, have mentioned it or even say, deport Vargas now. I think it's because, at the end of the day, I think this is an issue in the conversation that people aren't really willing to have, When we talk about illegal immigration, what do we think about? We think about the border. We think about all these people who are mooching resources away from us. We think of the people who are babysitting our kids, maybe mowing our lawns or serving us food. Well, we're also going to college. We're also writing newspaper articles. We're also going to law school and medical school. So that's the conversation that I really wanted to start. What this election really is about, especially this Republican primary campaign, I think is really the soul of America, like what America looks like. We're living in a country where every 30 seconds a Latino turns 18 years old. Every 30 seconds a Latino turns 18 years old. We're living in a country where half of the kids under the age of 30 are not white. They're Asian, they're black, and they're Hispanic. The tenor of the campaign to me, whenever they talk about immigration, it feels like they're talking about an America from like 2 decades ago. When Mitt Romney can say that the solution to the immigration problem is self-deportation, I mean, it just tells you just how far removed he is from reality, And when he said that, I was sitting there thinking, like, is there a button I get to push somewhere that kind of, boop, self-deport? Is there that? If you self-deported me, then what would happen to my grandmother, who's an American citizen? This is my home. I went to school here. I grew up here. I've been paying taxes here. Where am I going? But again, the fact that he would say that tells you that was so indicative of how far removed from reality most of the Republican candidates are when it comes to this issue.